What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. Now, today we are talking about 7th Zone, and yes, I know, I meant to get these videos out a while ago, but weekend's been kind of crazy. Fair warning, guys, don't be surprised if there's a little bit of a let's call it a couple days hiatus here in the near future. There's a very high likelihood that there will be. The channel's not going anywhere, guys. It's just, I've got a personal situation coming up. It's all very good. So if there is a little bit of lag time for the next week and change, please do excuse that. But jumping into this, let's talk about Water Zone. Okay, don't worry, I will bring you guys the news. The news will be coming without hesitation, but other things might get put on the back burner. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, notification bell, because once that silliness is over, we'll be back at it. But for now, let's jump into Water Zone. You got to use Thunder units for this, like we said last week, and I'm going to use the most recent units we've received in the game, plus some of my personal favorites, okay? Riv really doesn't have much of a place on this team, if I'm entirely honest, but she is going to help us in a lot of ways. Basically what Reveria is going to do is she's going to give us 100% SA gauge charge. She's not really going to do any damage or anything like that, but her 100% SA gauge charge is going to be super clutch in this event. Plus, I have Casino Seer on here, and I'm actually going to make one quick amendment to the team here in just a second. But first, you'll also notice that I have Yuri on this team. Yuri is from last year's event. He's an OG, and I've got the AOE Hestia on him. AOE Hestia is going to help us out immensely when it comes to, the damage produced in here. Okay? Then I've got Argo from the events that preceded the anniversary. Argo should be no stranger to these teams. The real downside here is that Argo kind of is the best unit we've got for this, but he's an AOE. So it's not like he's going to be producing insane damage or anything like that. He's actually going to be struggling a little bit, but I think with this team we'll still manage an S clear. Okay? Of course, I've got Line. Line always makes an appearance on these teams. She's very, very critical. She gives everyone on the team 33% SA gauge charge, and I'm actually going to swap this out. I have the eyes unit on here that gives that reduces physical and magic resistance. I'm going to actually swap that out, and I'm going to put Finn on here, even though Finn's not max limit broken. Not for lack of trying, but even though Finn's not max limit broken, I'm going to stick him on here, frankly, because I need his SA gauge charge. Now, I have a whole video coming out later this week talking about what to do if you've not max limit broken the anniversary units. We will talk about that. Don't go hitting banners more than the 10 times. After that, it is absolutely just a silly prospect. But there are possibilities and there are ways, so stay tuned, guys. Now, also we've got Fina on here. Fina is also from the event that preceded the anniversary. Mine's only +2. I did not maximum break her or Argo. Maybe a mistake, I agree. But at the time I was working on something and that didn't work out either. But they'll definitely manhandle this event. Now, I'm going to actually switch it up here real quick. I'm going to take that assist off, and I'm going to put Reveria on here. Now, I am aware Reveria's max limit broken. You probably do not have this unit. Most people probably were not playing when she was available, but she does thunder resistance debuffing, and she does an HP regen, which is going to be handy. Use whoever you have that does thunder resistance in the right spot. The reason that I put Riv there is because Riv has a ton of magic buffing, and you see I had the 15% magic Freya on her, and I removed that 50% Freya magic Freya unit. While that is going to hurt Fina's damage output in the long run, it actually isn't going to change a whole lot because I'm not going to be SAing with Fina. I'm going to be mostly SAing with Argo. Well, actually, I might do double SAs with them, but Argo is going to produce far and away more damage by an insane margin. So, Riv, on the other hand, by using her to reduce the thunder damage, I can actually increase the damage from my main attacking unit. It's a creative decision. Now, if your Fina's stronger, obviously you'd want to do it the other way around. Take off Artemis and put, someone over here that reduces thunder damage that has a high physical stat. But since Riv is a really good unit, has a high magic attack stat, and will debuff Thunder. That's how I'm going about this one. Those are the kinds of thought processes you need to go through. And yes, I am aware we have all Maxima broken with the exception of Finn. Grumble, grumble. On the assist side, but I'm telling you guys 100%, when it comes to assists, they should be your number one focus. MLB assists means so much more than anything else. Finally, we have Haruhime, and as I've always been saying, Haruhime is mandatory for these teams. If you did not get her on the free multi, heavily consider acquiring her. There's quite a few ways you can right now that are not free to play, unfortunately, but you will thank yourself later, and you can actually max limit break her completely free to play with prism bonds that we're going to be getting all over the place for the next little bit, because we're going to get tons of 4 stars you probably can't do anything with. I have a video coming out about that too, so stay tuned for those. Now, I do have Goblin Slayer crossover unit on her. That is the plus 15% thunder damage Sword Maiden, and I think she's the only unit that actually does physical damage. That does thunder damage up. So if you don't have her, that might suck, but there's other options you can do. Plus, she has a really good debuff, so she has a great place on this team. If you don't have her, it is not the end of the world. Do not get too distraught by that. You have plenty of other options. As you can see, I had a unit that reduced physical and magic resistance, and I threw her off to throw on the unit that does the thunder up. So there are ways you can manipulate this. Really, in this sense, you want to worry about debuffing your opponent's incoming damage first. And as always, in this one, you need the stun anklets. It's absolutely mandatory. You cannot live without stun anklets. So let's go ahead and debuff with Haruhime. Go ahead and buff Argo and Fina. And we're going to do the 33% SA gauge charge with Line. Now, this does mean that everybody gets 55% SA gauge charge per unit, because Finn is going to affect all 3 of those main units, plus the 33% if we go in here. Bam. So 22% SA gauge charge on the assist side, 33% on the adventure side. Very important you keep up with those, so we're going to go ahead and go do Yosuga, so we keep that up. And that is going to be really super handy, because once we get in here, Riv is going to buff herself to 100%. So we are basically, what we're doing is we're going to be SA spamming. Now, Yuri's coming in. Yuri's going to go ahead and do Earth Resist and Guard Rate down 40%. We're not so much worried about the Earth Resist, but the Guard Rate is going to be super important. That Guard Rate is going to allow us to do a lot more damage a lot faster. Okay? Pulse Extension. We're going to change that over. We're going to go ahead. I could do this ally status buff plus 2 turns. I'm going to do that 1 turn and just kind of build that up a little bit. So that gives us, it gives us a little more in case we have to do Sheikah a little bit later in the turn. But yeah, I'll do it now because I'd rather do it now than later, because obviously we want to do some single target damage here early. And I'm going to go ahead and do the single target attack with Argo on this turn. Okay? Now, the reason I'm going to do the single target attack with Argo is because on the next turn, I'm going to do his AoE, because we want everyone to have that big physical and magic resistance buff, and I want to make sure we do that with Riv. I don't want to do this twice. I want to maximize my damage on this turn. So doing a single target on this turn is going to pay dividends. Okay? Good stuff. Yuri's left, and we have Riv. Now, Riv is basically going to spam this attack. Well, okay. I'm going to do this attack once, and because +3 actions, low water magic attack with a foe. That pays out a lot, so I'm going to be basically replicating that as much as I can. Basically, she has to attack for that to happen. So we do this buff, and then we go do this super slow single target attack, which isn't really gonna, it's not gonna produce an insane amount of damage, but every little bit is gonna add up. So yeah, it's questionable. Okay, I did say I was gonna do electric slash in this turn. This does a physical and magic resist and thunder resist down 30%. That's gonna be super important here. That is gonna debuff thunder down to 95%, and it is going to, actually, you know what, that's a debuff. I should have done it last turn. Should have done that last turn. I forgot. That's all right. So in reality, I should have done the AoE last turn. Should have done basically the same stack that I did with Fina. Fina's going to go to her single target. I don't know why I thought he did. Oh, okay. It's his first move. That's his first move. So we're going to do his, once again, his S1 again. I should have saved S1. Basically what I should have done is I should have done the debuff, then the single target, then this buff. I messed up the stack again a little bit. It's easy to do with him. All right, so let's go do S1 one more time. Then we'll do S2, then we'll do S3. So I should have done S2, S3, S1, and then spammed S3 from that point on. Would have been the better way to handle this, but that's okay. S2, because that's going to debuff him. I'm going to go ahead and do... You know what? I'm going to save. Yeah, I'm going to save Haru and do a double SA with Haru and... Yeah. Maybe I'll do a triple. I don't know. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and do Piercing Chill on this one. Yeah. So we're going to do the debuff. We're going to do Piercing Chill for a little bit of just tiny bit of damage that Riv's going to produce. It's not going to be much. Don't get too excited. Even though she's Max Limit Broken, she's a water type, so it's not going to affect this unit at all. Basically, any of the major strength stuff is going to affect her. And we're going to do Yosuga because my goal here is going to be basically to get a triple SA to do that with Fina and Argo. So, yeah, let's go. Okay? So this is turn 1 of Riv's extra attack. Okay? Notice it doesn't do much of anything at all. But that's fine. Okay, going back to doing single targets there, and we're going to spam Yosuga. And I'm going to go and do Piercing Chill one more time. This is turn 2 of Riv's secondary attack. Once again, not doing crazy damage to the opponent, but... Alright. And once again, single targets, and that, we're just like spamming at this point. Bam, turn 3. And now we have a triple SA. Okay? On this turn, I'm going to go ahead and do Frozen Orb one more time. We're basically going to get that extra attack with her. While that, once again, isn't really going to be the greatest, strongest thing in history of mankind, it's going to help a little bit, and she's about to get 100% magic, which is going to help as well. So, Frozen Orb on this turn, and then triple SA. Let's see what happens here. So, paying attention to the numbers, because we play this by the numbers. Go Haruhime! Go girl! Bam. Alright, now I want to pay close attention to what she does. So we're not getting any extra debuffs out of these units, so this will be the same damage we'll see all over the place. About 0.5 mil, actually. That's very respectable. Very, very respectable. And remember, Haruhime hasn't even done her penetration buff yet. So, and I haven't buffed their critical rate either. So, I don't think she crit on that last one, though. Oh, that was a critical. Bam. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Now, I will say, if you're using Outlaw Bell, unfortunately, my Outlaw Bell is only +3. But even at +3, I have not been able to produce that much damage, and Outlaw Bell is a single target unit. He should be out-damaging them by an insane margin, and I simply have not been seeing that. So if you're using Outlaw Bell, I think that's a mistake. I would rather use these units. These units are way, way better. Personal opinion. Okay, I'm going to go and do Sheikah on this turn. We shouldn't have anything timing out. No. What I could do with her is I can actually go ahead and do the ally status buff +2 on this one. That'll take place of whatever Haru is doing. And yeah, we'll be good on that one. So Haru doing Sheikah won't be a big deal. We'll just use the buff replication that Fina has. It'll reduce some of her outgoing damage, but really no big deal. Okay, and we're going to go back to using Piercing Chill and single target with... Argo. Let's do this. Bam. So you notice she doesn't really do much. Riv kind of falls apart here. But, you know, like I said, every little tiny bit counts. How much health does old boy have left? 5.6 mil. So we're going to go back to do Yosuga. I'm going to do single target with her. Piercing Chill, this is number 2. And Sparkling Edge. I think I called it Sparkling Edge before. Bam. Alright. Now if I turn icons off for a moment, you'll see that we haven't at this point done an insane amount of damage to the spider, but this is where he starts to fall apart a bit. Once we get that big buff and those first few attacks out, we're now going to basically spam double SAs with Fina and Argo. I didn't think I was going to, but Fina actually held her own there, so we're definitely going to do it. This is turn 3 with Piercing Chill, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to go back to doing Frozen Orb after that. Yosuga, and all that good stuff. Lego. We're just spamming single targets at this point with Fina and Argo. Good stuff. Not quite double SA time, so we're going to go ahead and do Frozen Orb one more time, get those extra attacks. Sheikah, we shouldn't have anything fall off. Everything should be, yeah, his is. Well, his is, that's buff outside of Haruhime as well, so we're not worried about that. I'm just worried about buffs falling off, and with the buff that we did with, and his buffs are going to be insane because he replicates his own buffs, but, or I'm sorry, no, he replicates debuffs, doesn't he? Yeah, debuffs replicated. So, if I ever, like, had Haru fall off or you didn't want to use Haru or don't have a Haru, these two will hold their own. You could throw another unit on there. Heck, we could do this. Man, it would be fun. I might do that. I'm pondering and pondering. Might do that. I might remove Haru and do something else. Or sack Haru. Stay tuned. We might redo this. We might redo this and have a little bit of fun. But for now, let's go and do Frozen Orb, Sheikah, and the 2 single targets. Next turn, we're going to double SA. And the spider's just going to fall apart here shortly. Okay. Now, I'm going to double check here before I do the SA. Make sure that we don't have any debuffs on us. We do not. That is great news. We're going to go back. I'm going to do Sheikah one more time because we have a little bit of a safe spot to do that. Yeah, we've got plenty of space in our build for that. So we'll do a double SA here. Go back to do Piercing Chill. That's once again, we got, basically just enough space to make that happen. So, let's see here. Fina, what you got, girl? You do have to make sure you're paying attention to your buff stack. If you run out of buffs, you're not going to be producing damage the way you want to. I expected more out of that one. Maybe she didn't hit as hard. I was watching over there, wasn't watching here. Or did she crit last time? Maybe she crit last time. I think she actually might have crit last time. Either way, if I increase their crit rate, we would be better off, but we're SA spamming. Ooh, no. Yeah, that's what it is. We didn't crit this time at all. We need that crit rate up. I might swap Yuri out for somebody that increases the crit rate, if I'm completely honest. All right. Yosuga, Piercing Chill. This is 2 for Piercing Chill. Single targets, Lego. Now, I was really hoping this would be an S-clear, but it doesn't look like we're actually going to S-clear it. It really doesn't look like we're going to S-clear this. That is truly, truly, truly unfortunate. Piercing Chill, single targets, Lego. Yeah. Now, to be honest with you, you could take Riv off and put someone else on that does a little bit of extra damage. That is an option. If I had Finn literally every other turn, I'd get double SAs. So I'm not... if I had Finn Max Limit Broken. So that is an unfortunate side effect of the team build I've got going on here. Very unfortunate, as a matter of fact. And Riv has run out of steam, but that's not altogether unexpected. Ooh, this is taking a lot longer than anticipated. Alright. Ooh, I didn't notice Fina is debuffed. Fina is debuffed. This is not going to be pretty. She might hit 100k tops. Should have checked that before I did it. That's okay. And she still hit harder than last time. Sometimes RNG is just out to make a mockery of you. I don't know what to tell you on that one. RNG is a mother. Bam, $500,000. So when we're debuffed, we hit harder than when we're not. Cool, whatever. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know what's going on anymore. Let's go. Single target attacks. Let's get one more double SA and finish this up on turn 20. So if I'm honest here, I really actually think if I was going to do this over again, probably what I'd do is I'd probably put on somebody here that increases critical rate. Maybe keep Line on? Well, actually, Line does increase critical rate. She does. Maybe find somebody that... Is there somebody that increases critical rate more than that? Maybe an assist that increases critical rate would be really good, because we haven't gotten any crits, really, except for that first one. Now, one thing that is worth noticing here, we don't have anybody that is an insect killer. If you have an insect killer, great. I don't recollect if there is anybody on the Thunder team that does insect killer. Maybe Outlaw Bell does. I'd have to double check that. But if you have an insect killer, they're going to be way better at this than my units are. But for now, let's jump back in and see what happens here. I'm going to pull up the list of insect killers real quick, because I completely had forgotten about that as a thing. Let's see. Alright. And on this last turn, we're actually going to get another... I don't need to worry about his debuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and do an attack. Yeah. On this last turn, we'll do a double SA, and maybe we'll actually finish this up, hopefully. Fingers crossed. There's some criticals. Alright. And we're debuffed. And we're debuffed. Well, Hail Mary pass. Let's go. So let's see. Actually, the Thunder Osfi and Line are both. And the Thunder Otaro, actually, are both... well, Line obviously is not a Thunder unit, but those units are insect killers, so maybe those two would be better. I'd have to go try that. But both those are AoEs, and neither one of those really buff themselves very well. So we'd probably have to get some extra buffs on that team. Hard call to make. Hard call to make. Plus, the other thing is if you take Haruhime off here, you're going to lack that buff. So, we kind of squeaked by the skin of our teeth. Not the cleanest run ever, but to be fair, my units are max limit broken, and they're a little held back by the fact that we don't have any insect killers. So your Thunder insect killers are the Thunder Osfi and the Thunder Otaro. I'm not a huge fan of those units anymore. They were good back in the day, and they're going to take a lot of work to make do their thing. Yeah, I think we're going to come back and revisit this at some point, but for now, that is what it is. Let me know what team you guys build for this in the comments section, because I'm having a tough time with this. I think this is not the best team you could build, but a solid team, and it's all new units aside from Haru and Yuri, of course, and Line. But to be fair, I think Haru and Line are just mandatory. As soon as you guys can get the two, the better. Yuri, like I said, is just here for the guard rate reduction. Not that it did help us much, but it's a thing. You know, but that's 7th zone, guys. You got to use your Thunder units. Make sure you got stuns on there. And keep your best assists. Because you just never know. You never know. That was not as good of a run as I thought it would be. I'm going to have to go back in there, and we'll have to revisit this and see if we can improve that, make that an S clear. For now, guys, that's the video. Like, comment, share. I'll catch you guys on the next one.